30 years ago, on January 20th, 1981, Ronald Reagan, in his first inaugural address, spoke these words: "The business of our nation goes forward. These United States are confronted with an economic affliction of great proportions. It distorts our economic decisions, penalizes thrift, crushes the struggling young and the fixed-income elderly alike. It threatens to shatter the lives of millions of our people. Idle industries have cast workers into unemployment, causing human misery and personal indignity. Those who do work are denied a fair return for their labor by a tax system which penalizes successful achievement and keeps us from maintaining full productivity. But great as our tax burden is, it has not kept pace with public spending. For decades, we have piled deficit upon deficit, mortgaging our future for temporary convenience of the present. To continue this long trend is to guarantee tremendous social, cultural, political, and economic upheavals. In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem."
Twilights last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, saved us that star-spangled banner yet waved o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. Okay, it's so good to be back in the land of the sane. And to actually shake hands and meet people that doesn't have a business card in one hand and a brochure in the other one. It really is a joy to be back among your friends and constituents. And I just want to say thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve you. If you will you bow with me as we bring honor to God.
Thank you very much, Branham. It is my pleasure to be here before you this evening as the chairman of the Reagan County Republican Party. As you know, last year was a very successful election year for Republicans in this county, in this state, in this nation. Well, folks, I've got some news for you. If you think 2010 was fun, wait till 2012. Because that's the year we're going to elect a Republican president of the United States and a Republican governor of the state of North Carolina. Take it to the bank. Tell them what's coming. It's going to happen. All we've got to do is work together, spread the message, raise the funds, recruit good candidates, and it'll come together, just like it did in 2010. In reflecting on what I was going to say tonight, it is my privilege to be able to award some certificates of appreciation from the Reagan County Republican Party to some people that are certainly very deserving. In thinking about it, I wanted to contrast the new, and I don't want to call them the old, but the new Republicans and then some seasoned veteran Republicans. So I was thinking I'm going to call out 3 names. I would like the gentlemen to please come up here to the podium and stand with me while I make a few remarks about them and give them their certificate of appreciation from the Reagan County Republican Party. Then, if you would, then join me with a big round of applause because they certainly deserve it. So, would Mr. Brian Meadows please come forward? Mr. Buzzy Stubbs, Mr. Kenneth Morris.
But there's a difference between Republicans and Democrats in this case. It is that Republicans believe the way we're going to recover from this recession is through the building of private sector jobs, not by the growing of more government jobs.
Yeah.
That's the only way we're going to get out of this recession. And I'd like to compliment some of our new legislative leaders who clearly understand that we must do three things. And they're doing a great job. I want our new legislative leaders in Reagan County to stand up right now. I want you to give them another round of applause. Y'all stand up. Under Tom Tillis and Phil Berger's leadership, and the leadership from your delegation, they're doing three things that I agree with. The first is they know we have to reduce government spending. We have no choice. The math does not add up if we have more government jobs than private sector jobs, and we have more government spending in a county than we have private sector spending. If we continue on that path, there's no one left to pay the police and the fire and road maintenance crews. We've got to rebuild the private sector. And we do that first by reducing government spending. We do that by decreasing our taxes. And we do that by more efficient government. Now I'm going to get off script a little bit here and say the following. Our governor is doing just the opposite. With all respect to your governor that is from New Bern, she says one thing and she's doing another. She says, for example, that she doesn't interfere with promotions, but the FBI record says she does. She says she wants to reduce government, as she did in the State of the State speech, but the fact of the matter is 5 minutes later in the same speech, she grew and announced one of the biggest government programs this state will ever see by promising free education for anyone who wants a college or two-year education. Ladies and gentlemen, there is nothing free in education. It costs money. And we can't afford that right now. We all must share in that cost. And the last thing the state needs to do is grow another education program, a free education program, when we are having a tough time affording what we have today in the state of North Carolina. She said in her State of the Union speech and in the budget she announced today that she was going to reduce corporate taxes, and I think that's good. But the details of the budget, she just transferred almost all the cost of that to your county commissioners. And they're going to make the county commissioners pay for the unemployment insurance as of next year. So she's taking credit for cutting a corporate tax which needs to be cut, but then she transfers the tough decisions of paying for that, not by state government, but she's transferring it to your local leaders. If you read the details today. She promises lower taxes, but just last year she increased, right after our election in 2008, she increased the corporate tax, the income tax, and the sales tax. And now in a speech, she again increases the taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the type of leadership we need if we're going to get North Carolina out of this recession. We need leaders who understand we need to build the private sector, we need to be honest with the people, and we need to reduce government spending. And it starts right now, and it starts with the leadership that you helped get elected in 2010. And give yourselves a round of applause.